Welcome everyone to Tripp's art class. I hope everyone's having a good day today. I have my new sketchbook here. I'm excited to play around with this. I'm still my first page here, so I'm slowly making progress. What I've been doing was doing some fun kind of characters here with some Arteza real paint pen brushes. I've been enjoying those. You get those real vibrant colors. And what I wanted to do on the bottom part was to go back to color pencil. I'm using the Crayola Twistables. Now these are fun just because they are easy to use. You do not have to sharpen them. So I'm looking at my characters. I already drew this little furry ball character right here, so I'm going to go ahead and move in with this character right here. I kind of wanted to give him a blue hue hoodie, so I always like to have a piece of scratch paper nearby, and I do, to really figure out what colors. I mean, you can see what color it is here, but when you scribble it out on paper, you can really kind of see exactly what color it is, and that's a little bit too muted of a color for me. So I'm going to go and try to find maybe a little bit of a brighter blue. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So I'm going to put this one down as one of the colors I'm going to use, because like I said in one of the previous videos, when we color with color pencils, we need to be using multiple color pencils. Don't just use one, because that is boring. We want to have multiple colors and do some blending. Now that's kind of a little bit maybe too green for me. It is a process here, and that one is really green. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those down. So I have these two blue hues, and I'm gonna try to find something a little bit darker for the shading. Now this is more of a purple color. Maybe it'll work. It is pretty dark here. Let's see, let me try this one. Maybe this one will be a little bit lighter and less purple. Yeah, I don't know about that. So maybe I'll just go ahead and throw in some gray, maybe even a little bit of brown. Sometimes I like to do that. So here I got my color pencils that I'm going to be using just for the sweater of this character right here. Now, this character kind of reminds me of me a little bit. I did just order a new blue hoodie, so maybe that's what I'm thinking in my head as I color this guy. So once again, these are the twistable color pencils. They're fun. I like them. And when I color, one of my goals is to, well, I'm gonna color in layers first of all. As you can see, this is not going to be the final layer. I'm going to color in layers. But one of my goals is that people cannot, well, my goal, and it's not always this way, is for people not to be able to tell which way my pencil originally went. I don't want there to be any scribble marks, which is a real challenge at sometimes. Oh, this actually is a creature behind him, so I don't want to mix that up there. It's kind of like this creepy character that's looming behind him here, almost like a shadow. So we're into 2021 now, and one thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create more. I'm trying to create a daily. That's been kind of what I've been thinking about for 2021. And it's you know, every once in a while I'll get these projects, and it's like, you know, I'll get a commission for a painting, and it's like, whoa, this is, you know, real money. I need to get this done. But just to kind of create for the sake of creating, that's kind of what I want to do a little bit more in 2021. Now I do have the some of you are familiar with this, the Doodle with Poodle web comic that I've been slowly beginning pretty more recently here. And it's called Doodle with Poodle's Space Odyssey. It's kind of a fun one, which is almost kind of like a Dogman-like comic that I'm slowly working on. One thing I've always experienced in life is it's normally always more fun to begin a new project than to follow through with an older project. And that's something I'm really trying to break out of. I mean, so many people love to talk about, I saw a funny meme the other day. I'll kind of try to sum it up here accurately. And it had a huge percentage of people. And it said pretty much that the biggest percentage of people like to criticize. They like to critique and criticize other people's work. Then the next largest group was the group of people who don't criticize other people's work, but they talk about all the work that they're going to do, but they never do it. And then the third percentage of people is like the smallest, and it's the percentage of people that actually do what they talk about doing. So my goal is to not be the person who criticizes other people's work, and that's just really not me. I'm not a person who just naturally just criticizes everyone. I'm generally pretty proud and excited for people who are doing projects, and I want them to succeed and do well. So that's not really naturally me to want to criticize other people all the time. Although we all need to be cautious about that. But I have fallen into the percentage of people that talks about doing stuff instead of actually doing it. And I don't want to be lumped into that group. Okay. I had a buddy a long time ago, he said, don't talk about your projects. He said, when you talk about them, all that excitement just goes away. And it's like you already get that goal of sharing your project with someone else through your imagination and talking about it. So instead, just do it. Get it done. Actually create it. And then talk about it. And it's nothing wrong with people having dreams and goals and discussing them, but it was good to actually do something. Wake up every day and do it. Too often we wait for the perfect scenario. I used to, a lot of you guys know that I write books and novels and stories and publish some of them on the Kindle and even on Amazon in print. And I would hear people all the time talk about, their goal was to write a novel. And then for years I wanted to write a novel. So I would, I'm gonna go with the brown now. I would start to write a novel, and I would actually write some of that novel when all the stars aligned. And when I say when the stars aligned, I meant when everything was perfect. When my house was clean, when my bed was made, when I felt good, when I got in a good workout, when just everything, when I was in that right mood, when maybe there was nothing else to do in life except to go to Starbucks and bring your laptop. And that's when I would write. And then what I begin to notice is that I was never finishing a novel. When you wait for all the stars to align to be perfect before you do anything, you're never going to do it. And then you start to think, you get nervous to write then and to create, because you're like, man, I want it to be perfect, and not everything's perfect right now. And then it's like I elevated the story higher than what it actually was. And then what I started to realize was that it is better to have something completed than to have it be perfect. Because in reality, there is nothing perfect. And when you write your first novel, even if you give it every bit of energy that you have, when you go back to it later on, it's not that great. It isn't perfect, because it was your first novel. And when you write your second novel, you give it all your energy and you go back, and guess what? It's still not great because it's only your second novel. So the goal should not be to make it perfect. You don't want to slop stuff together, but you can't make it perfect. But what you can do, which is very important, is to finish it. And that should be the goal. So finish it. Give it your best and finish it. Finish your novel this year. Finish your sketchbook. Finish your comic. And some days you might not do the best drawings. Some days you might not do the best writing. That is okay. And if you read novels out there, it's not always the best. Not every part of a movie's the best. You hang in there, and then it gets good a little bit, okay? And then you're like, oh, that was worth it. So that's one of the goals for this year, 2021. Finish our goals, finish what we start. And the way we do that is we just do it. We don't wait for everything to be perfect. We create when we don't feel like it. We create when we don't feel inspired. Just do it. And then when we do create, when everything's not perfect, we'll eventually start to notice something. And that is that we get better. We get better. When we draw more, we get better. When we write more, we get better. Which is pretty awesome. We gotta enjoy it too, Fear is one of the things that destroys artwork, destroys writing. We're too afraid to ever just get started. We're not gonna create. And oftentimes, as creatives, we get that fear that, hey, it's not going to be perfect. Before we begin, it's perfect in our minds. We have this like larger than life expectation. It's absolutely perfect. But then once we start to make marks on that paper, we realize it's not perfect. And that's okay. That is okay. So once again, one of our goals for this year is completion over perfection. Completion over perfection. As a art teacher, I have some amazing artists sometimes. Amazing artists. Super skilled. Nice people. But some of them, they can't finish anything because they want it to be too perfect. Sometimes we have art shows that I conduct in my class, and I'll have some really, really good artists, and sadly they don't get to participate in the art show because they don't finish their work. And I tell them one of the requirements is you have to have the work finished. You can't put something up on a wall if it's not even done. So going back here to my sketchbook, what I'm doing, I'm sure you guys can pick up on this, but what I'm doing is I'm coloring in layers. Using the Crayola twistables, which aren't super fancy. I'm going back and adding layers. When I say layers, it's not layers of the same color, it's layers of different tones and different tints, different shades. Another challenge I've had to overcome is being too eager to finish something. And sometimes I would just want to slop it down really quickly and just to get it done. And you have to find that balance of hey, let's finish this, but let's let's also do good work. So now I'm looking for a decent color for the hair. When I'm not for sure about a color, what I do is just kind of throw down some light colorings, really, really light. Because you can go back, as long as you keep it light, you can go back and add some darker hues. Just can't go too dark here. Sometimes when we draw people with blonde hair, we go like ultra yellow. That's, you know, and sometimes we meet people that have blonde hair that's that blonde, but a lot of times there's some darker parts in the blonde, and the blondes are mostly, you know, highlights. Okay, so now we're going to do something fun. I'm going to pull out my Arteza markers. Here's one of these puppies. I'm going to throw in some more value here. Especially the areas that are supposed to be a little bit darker. I'm almost kind of using this as like a blending tool. So something new that's coming to the channel, in case you're interested in, and I'm a little bit nervous about this. I'm not really for sure if I'm going to keep doing it, but we're going to try it. We're going to try a live stream on the channel for the first time ever on Trips Art Class. We're going to be doing a live stream, and we're going to do some live drawing. And this is kind of live, but it's still recorded. Then I'm going to try to find a little bit more of a darker hue here. Okay, should be a little bit darker right there and darker here. Okay, I'm kind of liking that. That's kind of fun. I don't want to be perfect. I just want to practice some completion here. And then for the eyes, I'm going to give this character some blue eyes. So I'm going to use a marker for this part right here. Maybe one of these other Arteza markers, and this is kind of the blue I want. And this is kind of a challenge with these paint pens, paint markers, whatever they are. I go back over it with my regular black ink pen. Okay, and I want this is going to be a band-aid, so we're going to put some, make it look more like a band-aid there. Maybe kind of add a little bit more to the hair right there. You can always go back to, you kind of see where you want to add some more hatching or cross hatching. Okay. And I think that's okay for that character for now. So we'll go ahead and end that little guy for today's drawing. So there we go, working things out there in this little art piece. It's kind of fun. I'm enjoying it. So thanks for hanging out, everyone, today. Be productive in 2021. Remember what we talked about, completion over perfection. You guys have a great day. We'll catch you later on Trips Art Class.